Hey, welcome back to the Tango Simplified learning series. I'm Yelizaveta, and this is part 2 of my lesson on pivoting technique. If you didn't get a chance to check out the first lesson, you should. It's right here. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about the 3 kinds of ochos that you can do when you're being led to pivot. All of the ochos and all of the pivots, as I mentioned last time, are very much dictated by your posture and how comfortable you are in your balance. The next level of articulating and changing dynamic of your pivot really depends on your free leg. The leg that is not the one you're standing on is called the free leg. So the 3 types of ochos are really dependent on how much I let go of my free leg on the pivot. For example, if I begin my pivot, but I allow my free leg to trail behind me on the pivot, so here you see that the leg stays. I've begun the pivot, but the leg remains a little bit behind. So I can exaggerate this idea and create this feeling that the upper body goes first, while my free leg is more weighted, as if it's weighted back with some sort of a brick on the end of the foot. So I am spiraling, keeping myself very vertical, but I'm allowing my free leg to trail behind. So that would be one technique, one extreme that you might want to use to something like pugliese, something very dramatic, where it's fun to stretch out the movement and let the free leg kind of dangle behind you and create a different texture. If I bring my free leg more towards me and I think that I want my leg to turn at the same time as my body, it's kind of like I'm seeking the opposite of what I was just showing you. So I take the same concept of the pivot, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my free leg more cinched in to my body. You see that the collection happens very quickly. It's like I step, and then the momentum, the moment I begin my movement, I allow my whole body and the leg to turn all together. So this allows me to be quicker. You also notice that I'm not dissociating as much, especially in a setting of open embrace, which is what I'm mimicking here. It's like I actually feel that I can step and turn, and my whole body doesn't have to articulate very much, but it can move as a block. This can be useful when you're trying to be very quick. It does mean the size of the pivot will change, and you will feel a different texture to the pivot altogether because your body doesn't stretch out as much as on that first version. And the free leg is not so free. It's not so detached from your body that it just sort of lingers behind you, but it's a bit more responsive and it's a bit more dynamic. We then add a third way that you can explore pivoting, and that is where the free leg actually dominates and initiates the movement. And I know this is the one that you're going to get really excited about, because a lot of times this is the embellishment that for a lot of followers is very coveted, and it's very fun to play with this effect. So I'll take the same movement, the forward pivot, and instead of now me rotating my body, I will begin my movement by actually moving my leg. And then this pathway, this circular pathway of my leg that comes from my foot just naturally tracing, I can use that to unlock my standing foot to then create the pivot. So it will look like this. And then you can repeat it. So once again, I step very comfortably so that my standing leg is aligned in that way that we talked in the previous lesson. I'm very vertical. And then this leg, its pathway, if I were to just trace it around me, would be this. Very comfortable, very easy. But then now I'm actually going to use this part of the pathway to pivot myself. So it's something that you can play with. All of these effects will mean something different with different types of music. So the third version that I just showed you, which is, I guess, the most experimental, the most flamboyant, it's not something that you want to do all the time. It's something that you would pull out as a little flair or a little embellishment. And the music typically will give you a sense of what kinds of pivots, what kinds of movements really belong there. And that's really where the fun of musicality begins. So now that you have these three, I'm going to give you an example of me practicing the molinete and the pivots, but this time I'm going to vary between the three types of pivots so that you see how they're contrasting between each other, but also that they're really the same movement. They're just the same movement done in a different way. So check it out, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, now, of course, it's your turn. I would love for you to go through this exercise and play around with these different qualities of your pivots. Find which ones work for you. Ultimately, just because there are three versions of these pivots doesn't mean you're going to do all of them or that you're going to like all of them equally. The purpose of these movements, or learning these movements and these effects, is more to give you a broader palette for you to express the music. When you know the music and when you feel what you want to show through it, knowing how these movements are constructed gives you more possibility of expression. And that's really what we're exploring as tango dancers. So if you want to take this to the next level and actually learn how to apply these movements to the different orchestras, how to change the dynamic based on what the orchestra is giving you, check out my upcoming special topic webinar on November 18th. And this webinar is part of my Tango School online membership. So if you're a member, you are already getting into it as part of this program. But if you're not a member yet, you get a 30-day free trial if you sign up today. So you can join the program for free join the webinar, check out the rest of the program, see if it's right for you. I would love to know in the comments how these exercises are landing for you and what other questions do you have? Do you want to know more about pivots, or do you have other technique questions that you've been thinking about? Pop those into the comments below, and I hope I see you in the next video. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. I'll see you next time. Until then, ciao.